Keepers nervous, strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Nigerian football fans, believe me, I know. But what if? What if? What if Nwaneri switches over to Nigeria? What if Carney Chukwuemeka switches over to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles? What if Lesley Ugochukwu switches over from France to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles? What would it mean? For me, I think that would be a brilliant move, not only for the Nigerian Super Eagles, but for these players as well. And I think it would bode well for both sides, players and the Super Eagles. Now, where would they fit in? Where would they play? For me, I think Lesley Ugochukwu, like I said before, would fit in perfectly in that central midfield position because he can play the ball and he can press. He has energy to play high octane football. So I think he and Ebenezer Akinsimiro would be in that position where they are both sort of fighting for that central midfield spot. Because if you're playing with three central midfielders, you have one midfielder that'll be in the middle with two on either side. So I think he and Ebenezer Akinsimiro would be the two players that will be fighting for that spot. And then for me, Carney Chukwuemeka and Nwaneri would fit in perfectly in that number 10 position behind the two strikers. Now for me, why I say it will be beneficial for them to play for Nigerian Super Eagles is one, for Nwaneri, the left side of England is locked up. If Saka is fit, he starts. So there's no way for him to play there, and Saka is still very young. And then you also have in that number 10 position, Cole Palmer is locked in there. So there's no space there for him to play. And I think he would really shine in the Nigerian Super Eagles, especially with the likes of, he will be coming towards the end of his career because I think he'll be almost 30 soon, and I think it'll be a couple of more years, if that even, and he may be calling it quits as well, possibly after the World Cup if Nigeria is able to qualify, and then that means that spot is opened up for Nwaneri. And I think he can combine well with the world-class strikers and world-class players that Nigeria has, like your Ademola Lookman, your Victor Osimhen, your Victor Bonifaces. So I think that would be an amazing move for him as well. And then for Lesley Ugochukwu, that midfield, he'll suit in there perfectly. And you're playing with people that love to play the way you want to play. You're a young, exciting team as well. And then for Carney Chukwuemeka, so it becomes a toss-up between himself and Nwaneri for that 10 spot behind the striker, because the strikers, because that is one area, where Nigeria sort of lacks players. For wingers, always have wingers. For strikers, always have strikers. Central defenders, not as much, but for fullbacks, wingbacks, always have had them. So I think that's a place that it can quite perfectly fit into. And I know a lot of people will be going on about, but they have not switched nationality. They have not switched nationality. For me, I'm manifesting it right now. I'm manifesting it right now. But seriously, it's just for you to imagine what is possible. And I think NFF they still have it within their powers to make this come true. To make this come true for Nigerian Super Eagles. I think it would be a superb midfield that Nigerian Super Eagles would have if you're able to convince the likes of Nwaneri, Carney Chukwuemeka, and Lesley Ugochukwu to play for Nigerian Super Eagles. I know people will say we already have players like Chris Uche, Ebenezer Akinsimiro, Raphael Onyedika, and that is fine. But you can never have enough talent. When you look at the Spanish side, you see how deep their talent pool is. Look at the German side, you see how deep their pool is. Look at the English side, you see how deep their pool is. So football isn't won by your first 11 alone. Isn't won solely by your first 11. It's won by your squad. Because one thing you don't want is you don't want a player red carded and there is no one to come off the bench that can match his quality. You don't want someone injured. No one is praying for any injury, but players could get injured. That's how football works. Players could get injured, and then what do? Do you just bring a player just to fill in the spot, just to occupy a spot on the pitch? And it's come to the time when the new Super Eagles should begin to think about the future past the World Cup, that is post World Cup future. Because after the World Cup, the likes of um, Ola will be retiring. I don't think Frank Onyeka will be up to speed again after the World Cup. Surely Didi would be calling it quits after the World Cup. You know, same thing for a lot of other players. Your Trust Ekong would definitely be calling it quits after the World Cup. Because he's 36, he'll be 37 this year. By the time the World Cup comes around and it's done, he'll be 38. So one thing you want to avoid is you want to avoid the situation where your entire team gets old at the same time and you're now running helter skelter from pillar to the post, so to speak, looking for not only replacements, but replacements that have at least matching level experience. And by then, it will be too late. So this is the time you get the likes of Nwaneri in, you get the likes of Carney Chukwuemeka in, as well Lesley Ugochukwu in, and other players that we're speaking about on other videos. So what do you think about what I've just said? So before you go, please subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and also share this video to have a splendid rest of your day. Stay well and stay blessed.